Hello, my name is Rich Howard, owner of Architectural Builder Supply. This video is to bring you a closer look at the Master Lock. This is their part number 6385. Padlock is what it is. So the 6385 is an aluminum body padlock with an anodized finish. Okay, this is in particular a 1 1/16 shackle height. This lock happens to be key to like. The key number that we're dealing with here is 10G503, not that that matters, but it is just the indirect code for the bidding of the keys of this lock. This client ordered 3 padlocks, all key to like. KA, that's what the KA in the part number means, key to like. And then the YLW stands for yellow, and there it is. Servicing this cylinder ought to be a breeze. There is a Phillips drive screw down there. Let's take a closer look at how we might get access to that cylinder. Now, obviously, getting access to that screw is going to require that you have the key. This screwdriver is just simply too large for that. We have one a little bit smaller now. Get it down in there. Oh yeah, that works. There we go. I've never taken this cylinder. I've never taken a cylinder out of a 6835, but pretty common theme. There's a retaining screw that'll hold, in this case, this rivet. And of course this plate will come out. Then your cylinder just comes out. Okay. Okay, and then at that point, it's just a matter of standard pin tumbler sort of work. And yep, and that's what happens when you turn that key upside down, those pins will come out. Okay, so as I had just simply forgotten with these cylinders, and I've done it before as well, when you insert that key and you turn it 180 degrees, the holes down in the bottom of the cylinder are going to permit you to, when you turn that key 180 degrees, you're going to be presented with the pins. They've fallen out again, so I'm going to pause this video. And it's not a mystery as to why they're popping out. As soon as you bring that key 180, I'm going to put my finger over it this time, the pins will be able to move in the opposite direction of the spring, that is, the spring and the driver that are in the Bible. This part of the cylinder is called the Bible. So what happens is, here's our key in our normal condition. The pins can't fall out because the plug is in the way. You turn that key, so what's happening now is there are springs with driver pins pushing the bottom pins down into the cylinder plug. As you rotate that, as I bring the key to 180, those springs are going to be permitted to relax. They're going to push the driver pins and push the bottom pins up out of the hole because there's spring in there. So I'm going to put my finger over it this time to not permit them to kind of pop out as they have. You know, I don't have a master pinning kit here, so I don't have any of these pin tumblers, and obviously losing them would be a problem. So in order to get that repinned, it's quite simple. You'll just pull the pins right out of here. Those will dump right out. What's nice about it is the driver pins and the springs won't come out. In order to get that to rotate back and it doesn't work right, well, again, the springs are in here and they're pushing the key up, so you have to push the key down a little bit, and then it will rotate just fine. So all I'm doing there is I'm just pushing the key down, and then I'm turning that. And it works just splendidly. Okay. Anyway, it's a little closer to the anatomy of the cylinder that I had intended to give in this video, but nonetheless. And we will put that back together now. Yeah, we'll discover there's only one way for this to go back together. Yeah, it's going to have to turn over, lay over to one side. You'll see that the key, the broaching in the plug is not vertical. That's because the Bible needs to lay over to its side, which you can see there, so that we can get the rivet back in there. Okay. It can't go together like that. It's got to be laid over on its side a little bit to get that rivet access there. Now it's just a matter of where our plate went to. There it is. It's a bit of a... I'm grateful for not having lost any of those parts. That rivet will go in. It'll seat down. Hold your finger over that for sure. Drop that screw down into that hole. You'll get that to tighten together. So servicing this is really simple and straightforward. When all the pins dumped out, I did need to take out my caliper, okay, so I could measure the root depth of the key, the root depths of each of the 5 cuts, then measure the pins, and then I was able to determine that the smaller root depth, the deeper cut, is the longer pin. And I could do that by eye, but there were 2 depths next to each other that I needed to measure. So we got that put back together, and thankfully that works just splendidly. Okay. So servicing it is simple and straightforward. That would be more for the locksmithing group possibly watching this. So the padlock is a 1 1/16 shackle, and that is a reference to the shackle height when the padlock is in the closed position. 1 1/16 is what that ought to be. A little shy on that as far as I can see. The width of the shackle looks like it's about 7/8. Let's check the diameter of the shackle. 0.25, so 1/4 inch shackle diameter. Okay. Pro Series yellow. Let's switch to the screen view where we can take a closer look at the supporting documentation. Okay, so here's the item that we're looking at. Padlock, yellow, 1 1/16. Key to like to this indirect code 10G503. Indirect code just means that somewhere there's a reference document that will tell them that this code equals cuts on a key, depths, and what pins to use. Now, there is a link here below this video to the manufacturer's page. There's also a link to the cut sheet. Let's take a look at the cut sheet first. So the 6835 powder coated aluminum, safety color recognition plus high security. What's notable about these is that they're baked on powder coat for a bright finish. The aluminum body is ideal for an environment where you're going to have, an environment where a steel body padlock would not be ideal. Exterior. Tens of thousands of key changes available. Sure, I don't know how many depths are in a master system of the cuts, but I bet there's at least 6. So if you've got 5 chambers, 5 to the 6th power would be sorry, it's 6 to the 5th power. I said that wrong. Yeah, definitely thousands of changes available. Rekeyable bodies for easy key system maintenance. We've unintentionally reviewed that. Glad we did. Hardened shackles for superior resistance to cutting. Laser engraving also available. So the 6835 is going to be a 1 9/16 body. Measuring the body with my tape measure, I would say that it is closer to 1.5 inches, to be sure. Definitely not over 1.5 inches. The thickness of the body, I'd say that would be 11/16. Okay. 1/4 inch shackle diameter. The C dimension is, we thought that was about 7/8, so they're saying 25-30 seconds. Okay. The shackle options, you can obviously go with a taller shackle, 1 9/16 or a 3-inch shackle. And they've got some room to do some laser engraving on the body itself, should you like that sort of option. Now, there is that link below this video to the manufacturer's page here, which we had opened up. And let's take a look at the... Well, first, on this page you can review not only all of the master products we sell by means of this horizontal navigation, but also a link to the website, as well as a link to their current catalog, older catalog, a technical manual. Let's take a look at the technical manual. Lots of exploded drawings here. Okay, so they have a 6835 reference here, Service Procedure 3. This is the first time I'm looking through this with the purpose of reviewing the 6835. Okay, so... Alright, so here is what that cylinder construction looks like. Service procedure, including the 6835. So while this padlock is different, these components down in here are definitely the same. Our cylinder, etc. Gives you a chart where you can pull up constituent pieces, like a bill of materials, if you're truly servicing the item. Ball bearings, the actuator, flared nut, etc. What's nice about this technical manual is there is a locksmithing glossary in the back. That is a very helpful document to have. Alright, the keying kit is what I was actually looking for. The 291 pin kit includes all tumbler and driver pins needed to repin master rekeyable padlocks. Let's see. I'm looking to find how many depths they have. These are disc tumblers. We're dealing with a pin tumbler lock. So I don't see how many different cut depths or root depths there are, but if we were to go over to the HPC page in our site, we ought to find the depth and spacing data for master large pin. Yeah, I'm going to say that this is a master small pin because I didn't measure the diameter of the pins, but they're quite small. And you can we could certainly determine if this was a small pin because I have the key in front of me and I can easily measure the spacing. Okay, so there appears to be a 0 depth, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I guessed right, there were 6 depths. So there are 6 depths in this system. And what they're giving us here is the... I've taken out my caliper so we can get a better look. So it looks like 125 thousandths is going to be a dimension. And with my caliper measuring the center of one cut to the center of the other cut, it most definitely does appear that that would be about accurate. Center to center of the cuts, but also What I'm not seeing is the shoulder to the first cut. Okay, gauge references. Yeah, so I don't see the shoulder to the first cut. Which appears to be closer to 0.2 inch. So I don't really see that on this chart. But nonetheless, this HPC chart told us a lot more about this. This master small pin. So if you're cutting these, if you're originating these on an HPC machine, this would give you the data. You'd need a C34 card for your, your Blitz machine, or the P34 for your punch machine. But nonetheless, it confirmed that it had 6 depths in their system. So, it would be 6 to the 5th power. Pardon me, 6 to the 5th power. You've got 5 chambers. 6 possibilities, so sure, 7,700 potential theoretical cuts. And I don't know, let's see, this, well, since we have our caliper and we have our depth and spacing data, I've got my first cut, which is 0.19. Actually, when I hold the key, it's closer to 0.193, so I can tell that my first cut is right here. Okay, so 0.195. I know I've got one of those. My next cut is my root depth is 0.265. Okay, 0.265. So what we're going to do here is my root depth is 0.265. What we don't know, and that was inaccurate to say that earlier, but what I don't know off the top of my head without disassembling the cylinder and basically measuring it is we have the cylinder, and that has a diameter. Okay. You've got your cut in here for the key. So then you have your you have your cuts on your key, and I'm measuring the root diameter, which is here. So what you're seeing is effective plug diameter minus the root depth will equal, theoretically, the dimension here. Okay? So that's where that depth and spacing data helps tremendously, in fact. Okay, so we have really diverted off of talking about a padlock. But this manual is very handy because it will allow you to dive much deeper into the world of these padlocks. So let's wrap up this video on camera. So thank you for permitting me to take that detour into basically disassembling this lock, well, at least in terms of removing the cylinder. We didn't disassemble it. But it is awfully handy to have pointed out where those additional resources, and in particular the technical manual, because if you're buying these padlocks, you may need to or want to service them someday to keep them, in proper, healthy operating, condition for you. And you can see from that quick review, with little knowledge, you can certainly service the material, although you're going to need the pin kit, there's no doubt. And I wish I would have measured the diameter of that pin tumbler, but it's quite small. Anyway, if you have any questions on the Master, this is their part number 6835 in a KA. And when you order them KA, you have to specify the bitting that you want. And if you don't, the factory will just send you what they like. And then the color after that, you saw from the cut sheet the different colors. Any questions on this or any other Master padlock, please feel free to reach out to us. And thank you. If you've enjoyed this video, please click thumbs up. Please click subscribe as well, and even share the video with someone that you know. And if you have any questions for a future video, please send them our way and we will make every attempt to oblige. And thank you very much.